Hi, my name's Lisa and today is a class where we will use a chair. So I've got like a little foldy chair there, but you can use a dining room chair. If you don't have a dining room chair or something like an office chair, then a sofa might be okay. I mean, I could use a sofa for sure. It doesn't quite have the same hardness to it, and it's sometimes a little bit low. But if you don't have anything other than a sofa, then do everything we're doing using the sofa instead. Before we move to our chair though and start, let's think about what the theme for today is. So currently at the moment I'm working with the navel chakra. This is about empowerment. It's about developing your will, your determination. It's that will in action. This belly energy is also about individuation. Now what you might think is, well, what is that? Well, individuation is that process of actually understanding who you are, no longer tainted by the patterns of society, of family, of peers, of what you do, but instead it's this real like standing in yourself, standing in who you are, in your beliefs, in your values, you know, approaching life from that point of view. So think of yourself like a staff. You're really steady. So if anyone goes, well, this is what I think, you're like, well, this is me. It doesn't mean we have to become aggressive and push our viewpoints on other people. It means that we really are standing in our own values. This is my value. This is what I believe in. This is who I am. And as we start to become individuated, as we start to sort of separate the tentacles of energy that have clung around us and almost led us to make decisions based on thoughts and ideas that actually aren't even ours anyway, then we feel more empowered because we understand ourselves more. We feel less confused. And the energy changes. We have more energy as well. So individuation, it's a fantastic concept, and it's based around this navel chakra, this real process of understanding who I am and developing my will, my determination, my strength. And in that process, I become empowered to be myself and to not worry if anyone judges or criticizes me, because I'm okay with it anyway, with myself. So that's the thought for the day. If you were to journal, then you could think along the lines of, how individuated am I? Do I worry about what people think, so maybe I don't say something? Do I get aggressive and try and push my feelings on people? Because sometimes that actually is not even our own feelings. We've got other people's feelings that we're trying to push. So we're not pushing, we're not aggressive. Do I struggle to express my feelings? Do I even struggle to understand what my values are? Like, what are my values? So all of these kinds of things could be your journaling prompts for the day. But for now, maybe put me on pause while you sort out your chair, and I will see you sitting on the chair for today's practice. Make sure you're not collapsing. So we're not here collapsing the tummy, because we're trying to create space for the tummy and the waist. So you're sitting up. Your feet should be underneath your knees. If you find that it's hard to reach the floor, your chair's a little too high, then a little book under each foot would be great, so that the knees and thighs are parallel, and you want to have the feet and knees facing forwards. Now you sit up nice and tall. You relax the shoulders down away from the ears, and you close your eyes and begin to really experience yourself. And the more you bring yourself into the present moment with your breath, the more you'll actually start to understand who you are. So as you close your eyes, notice for a moment, what is the sort of feeling that you have right now? What's the main feeling you have right now? How do you feel? Give that feeling some space by breathing a little slower and a little deeper. Perhaps you can sense, where in my body does this feeling reside? So where do I feel this feeling physically? And how does it feel in my body? Using descriptive words to express the feeling in that physical form. You're still breathing slower than normal. Draw your awareness down now into your tummy and notice whether you're holding your belly. Try to relax it. Place your hands on your tummy, and as you breathe, see if you can fill the tummy as if you were filling a balloon. When you breathe out, the tummy empties, lightly pulling back towards the spine. This is diaphragmatical breathing. As you inhale, the tummy expands. As you exhale, the tummy draws back towards the spine. This practice is a wonderful way to calm the nervous system, to release tension in the gut, to get the organs of the abdomen working more optimally. So you might feel that there's a holding pattern around your tummy, and that's okay. You don't judge it, you don't criticize it, you're just aware of it. And the more you practice this diaphragmatical breathing, the easier it will become for you to relax your belly and eventually find that beautiful billowing movement, which is the natural way we should breathe. So do 3 more of these diaphragmatical breaths. Then as you finish that last one, release those hands and we'll do a little bit of movement in the chair. So we'll start with a little lateral stretch, sliding the hand down. If you're on a sofa, you can just slide it across the top of the sofa. If you're on a dining room chair similar to mine, you can slide it down one leg and bringing one arm up and over. And we can sway from side to side. And as you do this, make sure that you keep the sitting bones rooted down, so we're not leaning into one sitting bone and losing our root, but the pelvis is nicely embedded into the energy of the earth, and then the spine is swaying from side to side like a palm tree in the breeze. There's a real sense here of creating the space for yourself. Now, next time you come to the right, stay there. Important to think about the ribs as rolling open and the heart and pubic bone as having space. So if we roll the ribs down and in, we collapse the heart down. So rolling open. It doesn't matter how far you come, as long as there is this beautiful stretch through your side, the shoulders away from ears, and there's that extension through elbow, wrist, fingers. Then you rise and you do the same on the other side. You might have a little stiffness in the shoulder or the body and you can't come over too far. And this is where we have to be mindful, because some of the judgment and the criticism that comes in from our own mind is actually not even our own. We've taken it on from others, and then it becomes a thread of our being undermining us and actually leaching our energy. So drop away the criticism and the judgment and just be with yourself. Then you'll rise up and do a little twist. So you turn. You might like to hook the right arm behind the back of your dining room chair, holding on to the right thigh or knee with the left hand. Roll the shoulders down and elevate the skull and turn to look back. So you want to feel the rotation is in the ribs. It's quite nice actually if you grab your hands to your rib cage and circle it from side to side, just roll it from side to side. Feel the gliding movement there. And then as you turn to the right again and stay there, that's where the main rotation is. Not collapsing the legs or the pelvis, that stays centered. Back of the skull beautifully broad. Relax the eyes, corners of the lips. And then let's swap round, so change sides. Feel that lovely rotation. This is mainly the thoracic spine, which is the center of your spine, that does this kind of twisting movement. And you look over that left shoulder. What's nice about chair work is we can share the chair work with maybe an elderly relative, or maybe we've injured ourselves and it's hard to get up and down off the floor. We could also do chair work at work in an office. So then back to center. Now we can do a little cat-cow kind of position. So if you're too far towards the back, it may not work. So I'm going to move slightly forwards. The feet are still underneath the hips. You're rounding the spine like a cat, then pulling on the knees and lifting the heart and looking up. Let's breathe in as we round and breathe out as we lift. And then we can turn this into a lion's breath where you stick out the tongue and roll the eyes back. Breathe into the back and empty the lungs with that lion's breath. 3 more. It's a great practice, lion's breath. It helps to empty the lungs. It stretches the root of the tongue. Last time. Bring yourself to center. Inch the legs a little wider. Have the toes and the knees turned out. Feel nice and stable on your chair. You're going to keep your seat on the chair as you roll forwards like a spinal wave and up. So trying to get nice fluidity in your spine. And you want the feet to be beautifully connected to the earth through the 4 corners of both corners of heel and the big toe and little toe side of your foot. Next time you roll forwards, see if you can bring your hands down the shins or maybe even to touch the ground and hang down between the 2 legs. Let your head go. You can shake your head no and then yes. Then push through the feet and roll back up. And let's draw those legs together again. So now we're going to come onto our knees and turn the chair for our elbows. This is a great stretch for the chest and the shoulders. So I'll see you on your knees with the chair facing you. Once you're on your knees, you want to walk the knees back a little bit and then bring your elbows to the edge of the chair. So I've got a blanket on this chair, otherwise it's too hard on my elbows. Bring your hands into prayer. You'll walk the knees back so that your so that your upper arms can actually lengthen, and you can let your head rest very lightly on the edge of the chair. The hands are in prayer, elbows and forehead on chair, and you lengthen the seat away from the armpits. If you find you end up sitting on your heels, it's simply because your knees aren't far enough back, so adjust. Now in this position, maybe you can let the head hang down. As you breathe in, expand the deep lower back. As you breathe out, engage the tummy and the lower front rib cage into the body and see if you can lengthen your seat back a little bit more. Then when you inhale, expand through the deep lower back. On exhale, engage through your core and maybe lengthen your seat a little bit further back. We're not collapsing the back, be careful of that. So how do you know if you are? The lower front ribs seem to push down towards the ground and the bottom lifts up to the sky. So that's creating compression in the lumbar spine. So draw the lower front ribs into the body. We're thinking about lengthening lumbar, not compressing. So take 3 more breaths here. Great way to stretch out your shoulders and your chest to get energy into the armpits, but also we're finding length in your spine. From there, lift the head, walk the knees in and release by sitting on your feet. You'll feel that stretch and you can roll it out. If you were, say, at the office and you couldn't really do that, you could actually do exactly the same position in standing with your elbows on your desk. Or you could do that in your kitchen with your elbows. It's such a good stretch for the back and the chest. We'll then do a dog variation using a chair. So coming onto the feet, holding the sides of your chair, bending the knees and hinging the hips back. So the weight is much heavier through the heel than the toes. You don't want to be leaning forwards. So you're bending the knees and hinging back. This is such a good stretch for your side and for your waist and for your back. Same thing as before. Try not collapse through the lumbar. So lengthen the seats. Breathe into the lower back. Breathe out, engage the core and feel yourself finding a little bit more room. One more breath here. And then slowly you'll come up into standing. In standing, doesn't matter which side you are, but you're going to be sideways on your mat with your chair one side of one leg and swivel that foot towards the chair. The back foot turns in slightly. This is a chair variation for triangle. So the hips lengthen away from the hand. The spine is long. The heart pulls away from the pubis. We roll the rib cage open and we can bring the hand on the top of our chair, bottom of the chair if you prefer. It's nice on the top actually. And then the top arm can come up and over. So you're creating this lovely strength pose, feeling the waist working. If you've got your sofa, you can do the same thing with the hand on the top of the sofa. Try not collapse in on yourself. Roll open and lengthen. The arm's important as well. If that's floating around, you lose so much. So it shoots in this long straight line. Beautiful firmness under your feet. After this next breath, you rise up. I'm going to turn around, so apologies, my back's going to be towards you. You do exactly the same on this other side. So you bring that hand to the top of the chair, the legs are straight, you roll the heart back, shoulders back, and then reach the top arm up and over the ear. So it's quite a lot of strength needed through your waist for this. If it feels a little too strong, you could always bend the knee, but see if you can use that waist to support the lengthening of the spine. Couple more breaths here. And then release. Back into that downward dog variation where your hands are on the edge of the chair and you walk back. Lengthen the spine. Can do a little bit of a strength pose here. So with the feet far enough back, you can shift forwards, almost like a plank pose, and back. And exhale forwards and inhale back. Just be very careful that the chair feels nice and stable. Make it a bit more dynamic, breathing out through the mouth. Last time. Stretch it back. And then let's walk it in and sit back down on our chair. As you sit back down, rest the hands on the thighs, the feet underneath the knees. I'll turn and face you. Try not collapse into the back of the chair. Close your eyes and notice how you feel. So we don't need to do much to change the energy. You drop your mind inward. Notice the main feeling you have right now, the main emotion, the main feeling. This is your feeling. Breathe into it. Where do you feel it in the body? How does it feel in the body? Make it yours. Feel yourself in this moment. This is you. Then open the arms out wide as you take a breath. Cross the arms and give yourself a nice hug. Squeezing yourself in a hug and just giving yourself a really real hug, like this is me and I love who I am. If that makes you feel awkward, great to journal. Why do I feel awkward when I give myself some love? Open wide, inhale. Other arm over. Snuggle in on yourself and like really give yourself some love. Then open wide. Bring those hands into prayer to seal the practice. You place one hand on the heart, one on the tummy, and for this moment you honor who you are. Sending all my love to you. Namaste.